Modern technology relies on a very specific kind of traffic control. We have to direct electricity exactly where we want it to go and block it from going where we don't. But if you just take a raw block of silicon, you can't do that. It is a mediocre conductor on its own, completely incapable of this level of precise control. Early computer engineers solved this routing problem using mechanical switches and vacuum tubes. As you can see, these solutions required room-sized arrays. They were massive, painfully slow, and the glass tubes constantly burned out. The fix was a tiny, solid-state device called the PN junction diode. It acts as a one-way street for electricity, forcing current to flow in a single direction without relying on moving parts or glass vacuum envelopes. Removing mechanical motion from the process of controlling electricity allowed engineers to shrink computers from the size of a warehouse to the size of a thumbnail. This diagram illustrates our starting materials. Top right, P-type silicon, engineered with positively charged empty holes. Top left, N-type silicon, packed with freely moving negatively charged electrons. When fused, these crowded electrons immediately rush across the border to fill the empty holes. But as those negative electrons cross over, they leave behind rigidly fixed, positively charged ions. This creates a growing internal electric field that pushes back against the flow. This creates the depletion region, shown on the bottom right. It is a microscopic wall entirely emptied of any free moving charges. The opposing forces eventually reach an equilibrium, with a natural built-in voltage. This transforms a block of silicon into a controllable electrical barrier. We can manipulate this microscopic wall using external voltage. On the left, a physical schematic of the wall. On the right, a VI graph showing current over voltage. If we connect a battery to pull charges away from the junction, called reverse bias, the depletion wall physically widens. On the graph, you see a flat line. The valve is pulled tight, and almost zero current can flow through the device. But if we flip to forward bias, we push the charges back. Once we overcome that built-in voltage, the wall rapidly shrinks. With the barrier gone, current shoots upward exponentially. The complex exponential curves found in engineering textbooks are actually just mathematical maps of this physical wall expanding and collapsing. But what happens if we apply an extreme reverse voltage while the valve is shut? Eventually, the internal electric field becomes so incredibly intense that the microscopic wall physically shatters, entering what we call the breakdown region. This technical diagram illustrates Zener breakdown. In a heavily doped narrow junction, the barrier is so thin that electrons simply tunnel straight through it, as shown by the arrow on the top. In wider junctions, we see avalanche breakdown. Here, accelerated electrons crash into the silicon atoms, knocking other electrons loose in a massive chain reaction. This breakdown is a predictable physics threshold that engineers intentionally exploit to build stable, regulated circuits. By printing intricate grids of these junctions onto flat silicon wafers, we can produce the components required for nearly every electronic system in use today. This is how your laptop's AC adapter functions. Diodes act as rectifiers, blocking the backward flow of alternating current to deliver a smooth direct current to your device. They also act as surge protectors, using that breakdown threshold to safely vent a massive spike in electricity before it reaches your computer's sensitive components. Certain semiconductor materials even release energy as photons during this process, giving us the light-emitting diode, or LED. Most importantly, engineers discovered that by stacking two of these junctions together, they could create the transistor, a device that amplifies signals and functions as a high-speed switch. When billions of these microscopic switches are networked on a single chip, they can perform the trillions of calculations per second required to run a modern operating system. Mastering this simple electrical barrier is what allowed us to move from the room-sized vacuum tubes of the past to the pocket-sized processors of today.